My path to tech was a little different than most. I went there for graduate school. I did my undergraduate at a small liberal arts college called Texas Lutheran. I was looking at grad schools, and I, as time, thought I'd really like to go into advertising, and tech was one of the better ones on the list. They offered me a graduate assistantship, and I worked my way through. And then also I served on the faculty there for a year afterwards. So I really enjoyed my time there. When you're in a teaching position, you learn a lot about people, how to interact, how to motivate, how to communicate. I think I've used those skills as I've moved on to other things. I'd say one of my most meaningful things I remember about tech is I actually enjoyed, I may be the first answer, actually enjoyed being a TA. I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but I enjoyed the interaction with the students, I enjoyed the learning, and I really enjoyed being a faculty member. I enjoyed, even though I had some big classes, I felt like I was making a difference, and the students seemed to enjoy my classes, and I got fairly good reviews. And I think the thing I remember was I got this award from the Mass Comm students at the time. It was a complete surprise to me at the end of the year dinner. They pitched in and said, "You've gone above and beyond what we'd expect of a faculty, especially one that's visiting." And everywhere I've worked, I've kept this in my office as a reminder of when you go above and beyond, people appreciate it. And whether I was in an academic job or a professional job, that it does pay off, and the interaction and helping others advance themselves, I think, is the important thing. That's why I try to bring everything I've done. My first real job was at the San Antonio Express News. So I also had an internship during my college years, so I knew the system, they hired me. Within 2 years I'd moved, I had the largest account list in the paper. And obviously, newspaper business, advertising drives it, so it was a fairly big position for someone at that age to have. I moved into management. I kind of built a reputation in the industry of doing new business development type things, bringing in new revenue, and I parlayed that into jobs with the Austin Statesman and then the Houston Chronicle, and then I did a consulting endeavor. So I was in the business about 13 years. And then I went to Time Warner Cable for 6 years. At Time Warner, my job was I managed the Houston system. We had 750,000 subs. Everything in the marketing group was me. We rolled out digital cable, that was me. I managed the media buying. My job was to make sure the call center was in sync with what are the offers, what are the benefits. So it was a crazy, busy, stressful type job, but it was also a rewarding one because you could see that your decisions, good, rightly or wrongly, good or bad, affected the performance of the system, and you were held accountable for it. I started out there as their research manager. So actually I credit tech with helping me transition from the newspaper business to the cable business, because that's not a natural progression. And actually a friend from tech that I was telling about my story, I was living out of state, I needed to move back to Texas, but I thought I had to move anyway, I might as well make a career change, said, "You'd be the perfect person for this job at Time Warner. They're looking for someone to help them compete against newspaper to get more advertising dollars." I thought, well, that might be good. I had no TV experience, but I thought that might be a good transition. And also, when I interviewed for the job, he said, "My salespeople don't know numbers very well. Can you explain ratings and share and get them to sell by numbers?" And I said, "Sir, I taught media planning to juniors who didn't want to be there. I think I can explain numbers to anybody." He said, "It's yours." I was recruited by AT&T in 2005 to launch Uverse. Many in the industry thought we could never do the platform and the technology and make it scale, and we did. So that was a huge accomplishment. And we're now, I think, the 5th largest TV provider in the country. Here at AT&T, they gave me the opportunity of building something from scratch. Once we launched TV, upper management said, "How can we make it more profitable?" I said, "Well, there is this thing called TV advertising. Maybe we should do that." And the task was, well, you go figure it out. So I did. And now we're bringing in this year $300 million plus, where we started from zero in 2009. So again, we've gone less than 5 years, we've gone from 0 to 3 million plus, 300 million plus. That's, I think, a major accomplishment as well.
I met Jeff Balter about 2 years ago when I was assigned to be the legal support for the advertising product team. And although I had worked in advertising, it was mainly in the marketing area, and I knew very little about the advertising business, how advertising is sold, how advertising actually gets to AT&T and then gets inserted into our Uverse TV platform or online. I needed help. And fortunately, I had Jeff Balter, and Jeff is the person that taught me the advertising business so that I could provide legal advice, and we could work through some complicated interconnection contracts, and we could do some exciting things with advertising insertion and new types of advertising and new types of data. Jeff was very experienced, great business acumen, the ability to think through problems that needed some kind of new answer. The technology changes really fast, and we have to think of new ways to do things all the time, and Jeff was always so good at that and such a conceptual thinker.
Uverse is the cutting edge for TV. Our interactive is second to none. What I'm working on now is how do we go to the next step, especially on the advertising side. We will have the capabilities here of targeting to a particular household where a client says, I only want my ad to be seen in homes that have a dog or cat. Through our data, through our research, then we can send ads to only those homes. So it's almost like direct mail on TV. I'm living proof. I will guarantee, everyone that guarantees now will change careers at least 2 or 3 times in their life. And if you don't have those base skill sets, you will be in trouble because the industry is changing too fast. And if you don't keep up, you'll be left behind. And I'm saying what, again, from my benefit of tech is, I was able to transition out of a declining industry into a growing one because A, I built the tech network. I mean, someone at tech helped me with that job. And also that I had the skill set of, can you teach a sales staff how to use numbers, how to think analytically, and how to justify the rates they're asking for? That's what I learned in graduate school. And that's what you learn when you take your media planning and your other skills. Those are skills that you'll need in any job, and they will help you no matter what the marketplace has to offer. Texas Tech took a chance on me. Again, they didn't know me as there was no interviews for graduate school. They took a chance on me that I would be a decent TA with no background. Obviously, Tech has been good to me. The people I've met there have been good to me. And I see it as a school where it produces good students who want to learn, and I want to give back, and people help me along the way, and I plan to pay that forward.